Austin Goosby is a big recruit who wants to be the best in the country. Would he be a big target for Kentucky? Let's see. Austin Goosby, a young talent who has been turning heads on youth basketball courts, could he be the name Kentucky can bring to its college scene? With a rising trajectory and ambitions to become the best player in the country, Goosby is the kind of athlete that draws interest even at the most traditional universities. And Kentucky, with its history of developing stars and projecting them to the NBA, seems to be in a privileged position in this recruitment. And Pope with Kentucky basketball has sought not only to maintain its reputation as a star factory, but also to reinvent itself within the new dynamics of college basketball. And it is exactly in this context that Austin Goosby enters as a key piece. He is not just another promising name, he represents something bigger, an opportunity for revitalization. At 17, the Dallas point guard already demonstrates characteristics that make coaches' eyes light up. His leadership skills on the court, combined with impressive numbers in the EYBL, averages of 14 points, 5.3 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 2.1 steals and 1 block per game, show that he is ready to compete at a high level. The mutual interest between Kentucky and Goosby is no coincidence. Coach Mark Pope, known for his ability to develop players and create dynamic offensive systems, seems to have found in Goosby a perfect fit for his playing philosophy. They like a fast transition offense, so I think I fit in really well with that, Goosby told KSR, noting that the style of play proposed by Pope resonates with his own qualities. Furthermore, Goosby himself recognizes that Pope has the potential to take him to the next level, which is a crucial point for a player. As ambitious as he is, it's not just about choosing a college. Goosby wants to ensure he's surrounded by professionals who can maximize his talent and prepare him for the elite of basketball. The presence of Pope's assistant Alvin Brooks III at Goosby's games and practices underscores the seriousness of Kentucky's interest. For a recruit who constantly seeks to prove himself, that kind of personalized attention is a significant differentiator. If they keep recruiting and offering, then they're definitely going to be up there for prospects, Goosby said, naming Kentucky among his top 5 destinations. That statement is music to the ears of Wildcats fans, especially since Goosby isn't the type of player to settle for less. He wants to be the best in the country, and Kentucky has the pedigree to help him achieve that goal. That's for sure. However, the competition for Goosby won't be easy. Texas universities like Texas, SMU, and Texas A&M are in the running, and each has a compelling case. The Longhorns' family ties to Texas, where his brother Trevor Goosby plays football, are a major asset. SMU's geographic proximity and more welcoming atmosphere could appeal to the young point guard, who grew up in Dallas. Still, Kentucky has something that many of those schools can't match: national prestige and a global platform. For a player with big dreams, that exposure could make all the difference. Another interesting point is how Goosby sees his future. While he admits that staying close to home would be ideal, he doesn't rule out the possibility of leaving for a better opportunity. "It's always about the coaches and what they can push me to do in the future," he said, indicating that his decision will be based on pragmatic criteria. In that sense, Kentucky appears to be an extremely attractive option. The school's recent history of success, combined with Mark Pope's strategic vision, creates an environment conducive to Goosby reaching his full potential. The next few weeks will be crucial in how that story unfolds. Goosby plans to take official visits to several universities, including Texas, SMU, BYU, and, of course, Kentucky. These visits will allow him to get to know the programs better, talk to coaches, and gauge where he feels most comfortable taking the next step in his career. Do you think he would fit in well with the Cats? In the volatile landscape of college football, the tides of perception can change as quickly as the plays on the field. Kentucky head coach Mark Stoops now finds himself at a peculiar point in his career, navigating waters that reflect both questions and opportunities. The recent release of CBS Sports head coaching rankings brought to light a reality that, while not catastrophic, is certainly provocative. Stoops has fallen to 36th overall, falling outside the top 30 for the first time in years. But far from being an exclusively gloomy narrative, this drop can be seen as a call for reassurance and resilience. Mark Stoops' name has been synonymous with stability at Kentucky in recent years. Since his arrival in 2013, he has transformed the Wildcats from a historically average program into a respectable force within the brutal Southeastern Conference, SEC. Between 2016 and 2023, his consistency was remarkable, with regular seasons marked by impressive wins and competitive performances against elite opponents. However, the 2024 season, with a disappointing 4-8 record, exposed weaknesses that few had anticipated. This precipitous drop-off led to a decline in Stoops' national perception, but it also offered the coach a chance to show that he may have been just an anomaly on an otherwise upward trajectory. CBS Sports, in its meticulous analysis, points out that Stoops' drop in the rankings is not uniform among voters. While some still place him among the top 25 coaches in the country, at number 24, others have evaluated him more critically, ranking him at number 58. This disparity reflects the duality that surrounds Kentucky's current moment. On the one hand, there is recognition for his past work. On the other, doubts about whether the program can return to the competitive level it has achieved in recent years. Yet even with this variation in opinion, Stoops remains ahead of SEC heavyweights like Mississippi State's Jeff Lebby and Oklahoma's Brent Venables, which is a testament to his resilience and reputation. What makes this situation intriguing is how Stoops has chosen to address the challenges posed by the unforgiving 2025 schedule. After a significant roster overhaul, he has opted to bet on continuity, trusting in his methods and the culture he has built over the past decade. In a sport often dominated by drastic changes and quick fixes, this decision demonstrates rare conviction. Stoops seems to be saying that his program's core values, discipline, hard work, and cohesion, will remain the foundation for any future success. This approach, while risky, can be seen as a sign of maturity and self-confidence. Also, it's worth noting that Kentucky has been flying under the radar this early in the season. Expectations outside the league are modest, with many predicting a similar performance to 2024. However, stories of overcoming challenges in college football are written precisely in these circumstances. When a program is underestimated, the opportunity to surprise arises. And Stoops, with his experience and calm leadership, could be the ideal driver to guide the Wildcats back to the path of consistent winning. Another important point to highlight is Stoops' standing within the SEC, a conference that not only sets trends in college football, but also sets extremely high standards. Being among the 10 best-rated coaches in this scenario is already a considerable achievement. Even with the drop in the overall ranking, he is ahead of colleagues who face equally complex challenges, such as Hugh Freeze of Auburn and Billy Napier of Florida. This shows that, despite the headwinds, Stoops is still seen as a relevant figure within the sports elite. The 2025 season could be seen as a kind of litmus test for Mark Stoops and Kentucky. Skeptics are watching, waiting to see if the program can prove that last season was just a momentary stumble. For Stoops, this is an opportunity to reaffirm his vision and show that he can do something different. Will we see a different Kentucky and a different coach Stoops? Everyone hopes so. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.